This is Lansdowne ROAR, the voice of the fans, and this is a little bit of midweek Oi Big action. David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAvoy, and today we're going to have a midweek Oi Big, and also, not so great, we're going to be talking about the, sad state of affairs, poor state of affairs, really, of the academy system in Ireland. Maybe not the system, more so the amount of players that we have in it. David Dunn here, as I said, joined by Conor McAvoy, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the podcast. More importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. There will be no ads on this, we promise. No more ads, Connor, over on YouTube. Wasn't that right? We made an executive decision.
All your fault.
No. We are to blame YouTube. It is YouTube's fault. We will have no more ads, and we're going to say this on every episode for the next 3 weeks. No more ads on the YouTube channel, unless you're too cheap to pay for premium. Then I can't do anything about that. But yes, no more ads. No more ads. So head over to the YouTube channel. We forgive you for watching it illegally. We want to get that number down. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. Go on, hit the subscribe button. Also head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. And if you want opinion and match reports and that sort of thing, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. We can also get an audio version of this podcast, and also wherever you get your podcasts, I guess. Anyway, that's it. Right. Connor, how are you? Are you all right? You well? You good?
I'm all right. I'm alive and kicking. I'm enjoying this hot weather in Ireland for once. It's good to have
double digits now, is it?
It
Oh
is.
God!
It was 19 degrees today. Just wasn't expecting that. No,
19 degrees. Wow, wild man.
Yeah, you all right there? You all right?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, 19 degrees.
It's nice.
That's
nice. You're not happy that your country's got 19 degrees. Oh, weird. But
I don't
no,
live there.
no, it's good. I'm good. I'm in good form. How are you doing?
Very well. It was. I don't know how warm it was actually. It was too bloody warm. Today in London, but there you go. The sun was out. Lots of wonderful people walking around the place. A lot of crazy people actually walking around London, as I saw.
You fit
people.
right in.
No, I was actually people watching today. But anyway, that is besides the point.
Tom, you are.
No, I'd like you to retract that. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, I got the wrong man. I got the wrong Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Right, we're going to get into it. We're going to have a little bit of my sound. My sound wall is moving again. My aerodynamic sound wall. But anyway, right, we're going to get into it, guys. We're going to get into a bit of Oi Big. Connor has put this together. So basically, it's the players that were in action midweek. Now, of course, not every player was in action midweek, so there will be some missing. I'm just looking at some of the timings here. They're quite.
No Premier League players were involved. Actually, there was one, but he didn't play. So there was half. He's half a player in the Oi Big, I'd probably say.
Half a player. He's just half a player. Half man.
But if you're not making the matchday squad, I don't think you're really a full player.
Was that Caoimhin Kelleher?
Oh, you'd be correct.
Anyway, right, let's get into it. We'll have a little talk about it. Jesus. Right, the goalkeepers. Mark Travers, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Leeds United from Middlesbrough. Josh Keeley, 90 minutes and a 3-2 win over Mansfield for Leyton Orient. Max O'Leary, 90 minutes and a 2-1 win over West Brom for Bristol City. And that is your lot.
We have three playoff chasing goalkeepers. We'll talk more about Bristol City and West Brom when we get on to, because there's bigger news in that game, I think. But in terms of Middlesbrough, you probably would have said there were certs to make the playoffs probably 3-4 weeks ago, and they're kind of not been performing as well as of late. Leyton Orient have an outside chance of finishing top 6 in the League One, but they do still have a chance with the fixture run they have. So it's good to have all the keepers are in a good position to at least contend for a playoff spot.
Yep. That all sounds good. Obviously, Josh Keeley on loan from Spurs. Well, you never know. To get promoted to the Championship, he might go back there. Mm-hmm. Sure, they'll have him. Right, let's get on to the defenders. James Abankwah, 90 minutes and a 1-0 win over Hull for Watford. Jimmy Dunn, 90 minutes as a right back and a 3-1 win over Oxford for QPR. Robbie Brady, 90 minutes and a 2-2 draw with Cardiff for Preston North End. Callum McDowell, 90 minutes and 2-2 draw with that in that game, Preston for Cardiff. Shane Duffy, 90 minutes, a 0-0 draw with Sunderland for Norwich. Mark McGuinness, 90 minutes and a 1-1 draw with Stoke for Luton. John Egan, an unused sub for Hull City. Yeah, just pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
we should probably take out the fact we have Jimmy Dunn as a right back, because it's kind of a set position these days. He is a right back. His number one position these days is right back. So we should probably remove the RB line and just say he is a right back, because it's what's, being honest with you, Dave, it's what's made him a senior international again. And I didn't see the game the other night, and I know you hate going off stats, but on SofaScore he was the highest rated player. I seen he had like something like 13 clearances, 4 tackles. So he seemed to have a good game. And what was it? It was a big, I know QPR are kind of teasing on the relegation zone, kind of one you kind of wouldn't say are going to get relegated, but they still have to win games to keep afloat. And he's been a big reason of why they're not probably in a real dogfight down there.
Yeah, I mean, he is turning into a fantastic defender at right back as well. Of course, now he's an Irish international. He made his debut in the last window. And yeah, you're right. We probably will take the right back thing off him. He was a centre back. And now it just seems to be converted as a right back. So we just do that, don't we, on the graphic? If somebody is playing in just to kind of show what they can do. So yeah, no, it's fair enough. But fair play to Jimmy Dunn. He's doing really well. I know Dec Finnegan, if you're watching, he'd be quite pleased with him. Right, let's move on to the midfielders. Josh Cullen, 0-0 draw with Derby. Jason Knight, 90 minutes and a 2-1 win over West Brom for Bristol. Finn Azaz, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Leeds from Middlesbrough. Mark Sykes, 75 minutes and a 2-1 win over West Brom. Jason Malumbi, 89 minutes and a red card and 2-1 loss against Bristol City. Andy Moran, an unused sub for Stoke. Alan Brown, 90 minutes and 0-0 draw with Norwich for Sunderland. Bosun Lawal, an unused sub for Stoke. And that's it. Yeah, good old traditional 0-0.
A few of them.
I love that.
Did Jason Malumbi knock him up there?
He did, yeah.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Sent off. Yeah, he just had a weird. I don't know what you were doing with the graphic. Connor did the graphic.
Shoot it on.
Yeah, well, that's because we're having fun here. It's fun. This is fun, Connor. We're enjoying ourselves. We're going through the team. We're going through the weekly performances. It's brilliant stuff. Yeah, what was that with the graphics? Like you had the little squiggly thing for the red card. It's just
because for some reason with my keyboard, the button you have for that line down the middle that we usually use, for some reason it just it comes up something else. It comes up like a hashtag or something instead. So I don't know what it is. So I just had to put the squiggly line instead.
Jesus Christ! See what happens when I let amateurs take over, folks. But there you go. The attention to detail with these snowflakes. So yeah, are you happy with that's if you're watching it, by the way, on YouTube. If you're listening to it on the audio version, you won't have a clue what we're talking about. And that's why if you are listening to it on the Spotify version, Connor, they should go over to the YouTube one as well and see my lovely face.
I don't know if you've seen Jason Malumbi's red though, Dave. I think it was a bit. It was just ridiculous. I seen today West Brom appealed it. It was a pretty stupid red. Like he just ran up to the boy and took him out of it. Like just ran up to him off the ball and took him out of it. It's one of his moments of lapses of. It's basically just another Jason Malumbi moment of that. That's why, in fairness, he doesn't have a ridiculous amount of them, but it's a bit overkill, especially when they go on to concede. What was it, a 90th minute goal to Bristol City, who are now sitting in the playoffs. West Brom are fighting for the playoffs. That result there at the weekend made a big mistake. And Dave, there was one midfielder had added to Ibig actually that for some reason was hidden that I'd like to pull up now because I think he deserves a shout out because he's had some journey to where he is there. Dave, you want to pronounce the name?
Malechnik. Well, if you're listening to that, I mean, it's 5 seconds. So,
I think it's Milanik. I think that's I would say it.
Milanik Ali.
Yeah, he.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, Dave. During I was talking all about it during the transfer window. He went from playing National League to Championship in the space of 12 months. He was at Halifax Town 12 months ago in January, and then he went to Exeter, and then within a year he had signed for Luton, and he came on after 17 minutes the other day for Luton, who are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the Championship. Luckily, at the moment you probably would say that might go down. But his goal, 98th minute equaliser, got man of the match when he came on. I suppose he was absolutely exceptional. Kind of can operate anywhere, can operate out wide, can operate as a number 10, can operate even up front if needed. And yeah, huge goal for him. But he's 25. He's not like he's some spring chicken. For some reason, it says Stad Rams in the bottom right. I don't know why it says that. But the first ever Stad Rams player to play against
Jesus
Stoke City.
Christ
But
almighty.
no,
Down to the
could be,
detail, folks.
yeah, no, he could. I added that in the last minute just to make sure. I think it's one worth mentioning because he could be one to maybe if there's extended games in May or June, Dave, with EFL squad with the form he's currently coming into now with Luton settling in his new club. He could be a shout to come in for then, I think. I don't know if you agree.
I don't know enough about him, so we'll absolutely I will bow to your knowledge on him. But yeah, why not? Absolutely, why not? Like, you know, when it comes to June, we got to look at French players. We absolutely have the you know, we don't have we've a tidy little squad. It's just the midfield isn't good enough, and it's not good enough. And I know Martin, he's not here to defend himself, but I thought it was a ridiculous argument trying to defend the midfield. And you know, and if you are watching, Martin, I know you are over in Portugal. You know, I mean, the fact that Evan Ferguson had to go deep into midfield to get the ball, to drive the ball forward, to basically make his own goal.
Like, Martin could be laughing you come the end of May because we could have Josh Cullen and automatic promotion to the Premier League, and we could have Jason Knight win the playoffs as captain. And you won't be laughing at Martin then because Martin will have you in your place then. But no, I think what I disagree slightly, Dave, is you're referencing June. I think you're referencing the actual window that with the Senegal and Luxembourg. I'm more referencing the extra games that hopefully I would hope that they're played in May. Say, for example, they're played mid-May, late May, that these likes of, say, Milne Galley or I don't know who else. I can't
I just mean a camp.
Yeah, I mean, if they get in for one camp and if they can impress, then they can maybe hopefully work their way in for June.
I mean, I'm just saying June because I don't know what that looks like. What does that look like? Is that a summer camp to go to Turkey again, like you did? And I think you went Antalya, was it? Turkey before a couple of years ago, before the Nations League. And I think you did it, yeah. And a nice warm weather training camp, get to know the lads, get new people in. I don't know how it looks. Will it be 2 games behind closed doors? Will it be against a local side? If they have a hot weather camp in either Portugal or over in America, we don't know. So that's what I'm just for the purposes of this conversation. I'm just saying June, but that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying he's going to start. Just get him in, have a look, and you know what? He could be one of those players that just takes to international football, and you could have a couple of seasons in him. You just don't know. Like that little sort of diamond in the rough for Ireland, but definitely need to expand on that.
Dave, I just want to jump in. I am just my phone has suddenly buzzed there, and I was thinking, what is going on here? A tweet from a certain fella called Martin Prendergast. Create a bit of history of modern day history at Man United and get Kelleher in the summer. So anyone that's follower the channel might be new. Mr. Prendergast and Dave think there's a chance that Kelleher could sign for Man United in the summer, which is absolutely ludicrous to think that would happen. But we don't want to start
wow! You want to go there? Oh no, let's go there. Let's go there because we spoke about this off air, and actually the points I made, you even said off air, made sense. You're going on.
It makes sense that that you would want it to happen in that sense, but it's never going to happen.
Well, you don't know that. No, on what you're basing it on, and we did talk about this a while ago, but what you're basing it on, saying that, oh, well, the rivalry. No, there is no rivalry. Man United are so far behind Liverpool, and I'm not just saying this, like, forget tribalism, right? Let's look at it as two football people, right? And just drink it in what I'm saying, Connor, and you might learn something. United are so far behind Liverpool's rivalry. They are so far behind, right, where Liverpool are right now, United, and they've obviously now got the issues with the football. With the PSR, so certain things. So it's not straightforward. You can't just spend money now on players. They've wasted that money, so now they have to make money. Right? They're so far behind, and you're saying that they're going to sell them to Chelsea. Now, if Kelleher goes to Chelsea, they are a direct rival to Liverpool right now. They're not. They're a couple of players off of actually challenging Liverpool because Liverpool have probably gone down a little bit because they need a bit of a clear out themselves. So if you're going to offload him and he has to go, it would make more sense to offload him to United, who need need a new goalkeeper, but they need basically an entire first 11. But well, okay, bar maybe 2 or 3, right? So it'd make more sense, wouldn't it? And obviously, isn't there a thing with Kelleher's a homegrown player, yeah?
Yeah, because he went at 16.
Exactly. So if Liverpool sell him to United, then that's better for the PSR, isn't it? Then let's say somebody who's not a homegrown player, correct?
Yeah, the thing is, I've told you what you're saying about direct rival with Chelsea, but
Yeah.
it's still Man United, Liverpool, and Liverpool never
Let me
sell
tell
a player to Man United.
Morris Johnson, and I believe it was 1989. I could have that year wrong. When was the first Catholic to ever sign for Rangers? It does happen. There was talk about Paul McGrath going to Liverpool. Funny enough,
And
and
did
we
it
spoke
happen?
about this off air. It almost did.
But
It almost did. But what I'm saying to you is very realistic. You have to understand, United and Liverpool right now is like Ireland and England. And United are like Ireland in that rivalry right now. They're so far behind. And Ferguson isn't there. It's a new world. It's a new footballing order. So the reason you think it won't happen now, United probably won't be able to offer the money for him. If that could be the case, but it's nothing to do with
it's
the
not.
rivalry. In my opinion.
It'll not happen. It won't happen. We can put it in the comments. People with a bit of common sense will know that Liverpool will never sell a player to Man United that will benefit Man United.
Why?
It's not like they're selling some bum that's no benefit, but it's not happening. People can put it in the comments.
You said it yourself off air.
Well, it would
right?
make more sense. I said it would make more sense for them to sell him to United than Chelsea, but it just will not happen.
Why?
Because it's Man United, Liverpool.
So what?
What do you mean? So what?
It's not. It's an opportunity for Liverpool to offload a player to a rival who's not actually a rival because they're so far behind. But if you sell them to Chelsea,
fastest move in the streets that they can change just like that overnight.
Yeah, but it's not going to change.
They will not risk. They will not want to benefit Man United at all costs. They don't want. They won't even like. Do you think they even have the phone number to think of? Yeah, I'll pick up the phone and ring Liverpool by signing Kelleher. No, and Kelleher himself won't want to go to Man United. I know Prendy goes on about, oh, yeah, he was on trial at Man United. He won't want to go to United after he's a cult hero. He is a cult hero with Liverpool for what he's done over the last years.
No, he is right. But you don't know the conversations. All of a sudden the agent gets in the ear of Kelleher. I don't know whose agent is, by the way. I presume he has one. But, you see these conversations, all of a sudden you're part of a project. You're part of a project. You could be at the cusp, of the rebirth, the rise of a great club, the phoenix from the flames and all this kind of horse shit. You don't know the conversation you have. Now, Kelleher might just be like, do you know what? I don't fancy it at all. I want to go somewhere else.
But what about all them
years? He wants to go abroad.
If all them years with Liverpool were terrible and they were finishing 8th and 9th and United won titles, I wouldn't even consider selling a player to Liverpool. It's just the way football is. You just do not sell a player to your local. I know it's not technically local, but it's 40 minutes on the road.
With PSR, United are shambles right now, and they are. You cannot deny that. Put your tribalism aside, Roar faithful. They are an absolute shambles, and Liverpool are light years ahead. And it's an opportunity to get rid of a player who is going to go. You don't really want to lose him, but you have to lose him because he's going to go unless he signs a brand new deal and he make a promise. You know what? We're going to get rid of Alisson because he's too injury prone now. It's never going to happen, but you never know. That would be the only thing to keep him. It's an opportunity to offload an asset to a team, and it looks like it's a big deal, but it's actually not really, because that club is an absolute mess right now, and they're not really a rival, and they're probably about 5 to 7 years, maybe 8 years, of being an actual rival.
Football's very fast.
You brought it up.
Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, and lose mercy. Even Martin. I know Martin keeps saying it himself, but Martin knows it's not going to happen. He just wants to keep saying it because he wishes it happens.
You don't know that. You never.
Right. Thing is, we both wanted to happen then, but so.
No, I'm not saying I wanted to happen. I'm just like, if I was United, I would explore the possibility, and I just don't think Liverpool would be. I don't think it'd be. They would go, no, absolutely not. I think it'd be a lovely opportunity for them to offset an asset. It's a bit of a problem for them because he has to go. He wants to go, and if you sell him directly to Chelsea, that's more of a threat than United, because Chelsea are more of a direct threat, and you can put your head down and you can sit there like a fucking naughty boy on the back of a bus being told off But that is the
Are you-
absolute truth of it.
No, it's just not. It's just simple as it's not happening. You're just talking absolute waffle at this stage.
I'm not
You-
talking waffle. You said off there, and you said it on here that my point makes sense, but they won't do it because of the rivalry,
Yeah,
which
that's what.
doesn't.
Can you not be not two things be right?
Yeah, look, they
Yeah.
can. I just don't think in this case I don't think in this
Look,
situation that's the case.
the comments will know the
Man,
common sense in the end.
Man United and Man City just played a testimonial game against each other. Football's changing. This bitter rivalry, between clubs where Fergie wouldn't allow a player to go, etc., or the other way around, that's gone. It's PSR now. It's a whole different ball game. Does it mean he's going to go? Probably
We'll
not.
move on. We'll move
You
on
brought
to
it up.
attackers. No, but I'm
You
just
brought it
saying
up.
you're just waffling at this stage.
I'm not talking waffle. You
can't
have
just keep talking to try and explain yourself, just repeating yourself. Right, we'll move on to attackers.
I'm not. It's just you're offering no logical recourse to it. You're offering absolutely no logical explanation. Oh, they won't sell it because of the rivalry.
Football
that doesn't exist anymore.
It's not.
Because
It's not
United
a
are
pure
so bad.
business. It doesn't just. It's not just a pure business. Football is more than just a pure business.
It's not really. Let's be
is.
honest. That's not
It
really.
is.
United just what was it? An 81-year-old season ticket holder. He's been there for 70 odd years, and he just got rid of him so he can sell his ticket because he can get rid of
That's
the.
one man. That's reckless.
No, but I'm just saying it's not just.
That's when one particular businessman comes in.
Club football, Premier League is a business, and that's every club. So,
but no one really makes money off football. No owners really make money off football. So he's just trying to fix the books. But the comments will tell us, Dave. The comments will tell us.
I'm sure it'll start with Dave Howe.
They started a lot worse than Dave out this time.
Well,
we'll move on to attackers. We'll be here all day.
I don't care. You brought it up.
Okay,
don't bring it up.
They'll agree with me.
Who Bill will he? Anyway, he'll want Kelleher, won't he? He's a fella cook on you. Right, let's get on to attackers. Sinclair Armstrong, 15 minutes and a 2-1 win over West Brom for Bristol City. Mikey Johnson, 10 minutes, a 2-1 loss against Bristol City. Rocco Vance, 80 minutes and a 1-0 win over Hull for Watford. Tom Cannon, 25 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Millwall. Casey McAteer, not in the squad. I thought he wasn't involved. Callum Robinson, 20 minutes and a 2-2 draw with Preston. Michael Obafemi, 45 minutes and 3-0 loss against his former club, Swansea. Aaron Conley, not in the squad for Millwall. Tyler Goodrum, 45 minutes and a 3-1 loss against QPR for Oxford United. And Adumu Amaku, 24 minutes and a 1-0 win over Sheffield United.
Who?
I haven't seen these players. Like, I'm literally seeing these players for the first time. You're throwing them at me. All right.
Idemo
Amaku. Sorry. So Connor's just on the fucking wind up here.
I'm on. Is it worth explaining why we've added an Idemo Amaku?
Go for it. Absolutely.
So I think anyone that watches football, unlike Dave, no, but he's been absolutely brilliant for Millwall since he came back from injury. When it would have been a couple of weeks before actually the international break. He started to kick on when he came back from injury, playing on either wing, mainly off the left for Millwall. It was probably too soon to even get it considered for an Ireland call up because he was building up fitness whilst playing 30 minutes or playing 60 minutes here or there. But ever since really international break, he's got even better, and he's been playing very well week in, week out. Rapid pace, can finish with both feet. Sets is very good creatively. He's a League of Ireland academy product, which is good that he went over to England when he was 18 after impressing for Shamrock Rovers. And I think anyone who watched it under 21s last year, the campaign with the link up between him and Sinclair Armstrong, it's no surprise that Idamo's starting to really kick on now at Millwall and senior football. I would argue he's the most improved Irish footballer over the last 3 years. When he went to Millwall originally, he was a bench option for Shamrock Rovers as an 18-year-old going over and like being a bench option. You kind of wonder if he's ever going to make it at Millwall, and then all of a sudden it just all clicked for him once he went to England. Maybe it was just when he got into the better environment, even though Shamrock Rovers is a high quality environment, went to another level maybe with Millwall, and he's really kicked on again over the last month and a half. I think he's getting better and better. I think he's a very valuable option as a winger option for where we're at the moment to come in, especially with his age profile, and especially if there's extra games in June or May, he will. I'd say he would be a cert to be included in that.
Well, hopefully, yet again, going back to the point of we need as much talent. We need to freshen things up, I think, a little bit. But no, it's good to see. Why is Aaron Conley not in the squad again? What's happening there?
I don't know. I think he was injured. I was trying to find it earlier, and I kept searching Aaron Conley, but just some random Aaron Conley just kept coming up on my page, so it was doing mad. And I think he must have been injured, picked up an injury, because I remember seeing on what was it, Saturday? No, not Saturday. They played Tuesday night. I remember seeing in comments on thing, not another injury. Conley's not another injury, so they've said to be getting injury after injury at Millwall. So because he played like something like 80 minutes at the weekend, so I'm guessing he's picked up a small niggle or something. So I'm sure he's all right.
Yeah, he'll obviously, I'd imagine he'll come into the squad in June, or he'll come into the camp as well. Get a good look at him. Anyway, tell us what you think of the big. It's
not much going on, was there? It's just all EFL players playing this, but it's good to have a look at them and see who's there or not. At least we had one goal scorer anyway, and it wasn't just Didsy. It wasn't just Didsy.
Yeah, no, they're all going on about Declan Rice at the moment, aren't they?
Oh, don't start.
There was a great comment by Ronan Murphy on Twitter. Shared it. It's like, is there anything Declan Rice can't do? He goes, yeah, play for one country. It's like the bitterness is strong in this one.
It never ends, is it? It just hurts.
I'll never forgive him. I'll never forgive Martin O'Neill either. I'll never forgive him, Roy Keane, or Martin O'Neill.
Thing is, I know a lot of people have a real disdain towards Arsenal because their fans are quite annoying. But I know there's a few people in the same boat with me. Like, wouldn't have been too pissed off if they won the other day, 1-3 the other day. But it was the fact that he scored 2 absolute worldies just hurts. It just makes everything 10 times worse. And it's the same as when it was in September in Dublin. Just when it's him, it's just a dagger to the heart.
Actually, I'd like to see Arsenal win the Champions League. I think it'd be nice. I think they're probably the best club to not win the Champions League, if I'm honest with you. They're probably the biggest club not to win it. Off the top of my head, I don't mind Arsenal. Genuinely, I've always had a soft spot for Arsenal. Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing him. I don't really care about Declan Rice. Look, he's a good player, very good player, and he's actually, ironically, the player that we're really missing. You have him in an Ireland team. I know we're waxing lyrically about this, but if you have him in an Ireland team, that goes from a struggling team to a very good side, in my opinion. But anyway, and yours as well, I'm sure, Connor.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Put the rags away. The crying rags, not the other ones. Right, let's move it on to a little bit closer to home here, actually. Some alarming news here. Will Clark, the League of Ireland Academy Director Manager, say that 5 times backwards, is him here. He was chatting away to Nathan Murphy earlier on, of course, with Off the Ball. This is pretty much how it's all summed up, the current situation in Ireland in terms of academy players. So I'm going to read this out here. So Will Clark, the League of Ireland Academy Development Manager, has highlighted critical concerns regarding the future of Irish football. He says there's a declining youth player pool. Currently, only about 20 Irish players aged 16 to 18 are in full-time academy settings, a significant drop from the 90 to 100 5 years ago. So that's about a fifth. We've only got a fifth of Irish players between age 16 to 18 playing well. Yeah.
I think to mean on that, I think he means just in terms of academies, in terms of just purely, like, I don't think the likes of a Mason Mila or a Victor Ozenvula, because they're 16 or Mason 17, Victor would be 17 or Victor would be 16. They're not in an academy setup as such. They're playing their full-time senior men environment, if you get me. So obviously, if they were playing abroad, they would probably be in an academy setting that you'd add that'd be an extra 2, just to play devil's advocate to the other side. But just it is a damning stat at the end of the day. But I just wanted to add to that. And
no, absolutely, and please do anything here. Feel free to, I'm just reading this out here, but anything you want to point out there like that, thank you. Impact of Brexit. The inability of Irish players under 18 to move to English clubs post-Brexit has limited their development opportunities. International competitiveness. To remain competitive, Ireland needs approximately 35 players gaining 1,400 minutes each season in Europe's top 5 leagues. Funding proposal. The FAI is requesting 8 million annually from the Irish government to support an 11-year plan for boys and girls academies, aiming for eventual self-sufficiency. The allocation of funds, the majority of the proposed funding would be directed towards staffing and facilities, which would also stimulate job creation and return a portion in taxes. Government approval. The success of this proposal depends on government approval in the October budget, necessitating the completion of a state-backed audit by mid-August. And of course, you already see here, this is what Clark said about it. He emphasised the importance of laying strong foundations now, warning that failure to act risks the future of the national team. It's amazing, isn't it, that with all these failures in Irish football, and let's be honest, we have for so long over relied on England and other countries to develop our players, and then nick, like a Kieran Clark from England, or just these players that didn't quite make it for England, and then kind of get those into the setup and not really focus on academies like we probably should have done, and invest in academies like we should have done over years. And now all of a sudden we can, and also other clubs as well, to develop our players. And now we're in a situation where they can't go, and now they have to go abroad, which isn't a bad thing.
When it goes to Italy, it's a hellhole.
When it goes to Italy, it goes wrong. And a lot of our players, a fair few of our players have gone to Italy and hasn't worked out from Kevin Zeffy.
I think actually, I think Dave, just I'd say people enjoy. I think over the next couple of weeks, I'll make a video talking about the Irish players that went to Italy over the last 3-4 years.
Ooh.
That have either their careers have gone the wrong direction since going there, or they've either returned back home, because there's a lot of players that have went over for a year or less than a year and came home because it's not the right environment. But maybe you can emphasize your point there, Dave, just for any fan out there.
No, absolutely, and we will definitely will do that. We need to get back in the L, creating those top 10 or top 5 videos, or just 5. You don't like the L top in there, but it's just we've over relied. We haven't been the masters of our own destiny, and now it's coming to bite us seriously in the backside. And I think it's just amazing that you have an under-17s team going to the World Cup there. A brilliant achievement. And of course, Clark did talk about that. Like, these guys just overachieve sometimes. Yeah. When you look at against the backdrop of no investment, poor organization, we're only sort of now, like, and it's an absolute, it's a disgrace, really. Like, when they've only put a plan together now. They've only put a visionary plan together for the government to say, right, we need money for this, this, and this, which fair play to them. It's probably about 30 years too late, maybe 40, 50 years too late. This should have been done. But I suppose you got to start somewhere. But anyway, that's my rant on that, Connor. Your thoughts?
Like, the thing is, we're a country of overachievers. Basically, that's really it in all aspects of sport. I think we overachieve in every aspect, which is a huge compliment to our country. And could you imagine how much we'd overachieve even further if we got the proper backing into the sport that we want us to do so well in? The thing is, this is not like, we can't hold this against the likes of Will Clark, Shane Robinson, or even Mark Canham in this aspect of the academy funding, because they're the people who have come up with this pathways plan or want this money invested into these academies, because it's been badly needed for such a long time. And like we've seen, I think over the last couple of days, we've seen St. Pat's have got 4 players now on pro contracts, which is a huge thing. 4 new players on a pro contract, which is huge. Hopefully you'd imagine some of that's come from the Mason Melia money being reinvested into the kitty of promoting from within. And thing is, like as Will Clark said, in the long term, this is the worry is with Irish football, because we can't just presume that these talents like we have coming through are just constantly going to come true and true. Like he said, midterm we're fine. Like in terms of, well, not I wouldn't say perfect, but in terms of we're fine in terms of we've a lot of talent coming through, but that is an exception to what's really going on behind the scenes in Irish football, because it's just, we're just lucky. Like so I don't want to start naming out players here, but like we've so many young talents that could or looked as potential future internationals, but that's just because they're so talented. It's not because of elite involvement set up day in, day out that have really benefited. Like as we spoke about Ida Womako earlier, like if he never went to England, probably Millwall, we probably would never be talking to him as a potential senior international. But then that took him to another level. And some lads would benefit more from staying at home and getting into a full-time setup at 16 in a full-time men's environment like Mason Amelia has, or you see Victor Ozenvula has, like, but it's just the academy setup. It's like when you have lads that are kind of late bloomers as such, or would be looked as a late developer, they would probably benefit a lot more being in that full-time academy setup rather than wait until they're 18, going through just going through normal school like any other Irish fella, and are training maybe twice a week, which is at when you're 17, 18 and you're on the cusp of being a professional footballer. I don't think that's more than near enough to what they need to be. So it's a scary stat what's going on at the moment. It's just there needs the money put into it, like, because eventually you'd hope with the players they sell on what you see Mason Amelia going for now, they can reinvest that money, but just they can't, it has to start somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's always kind of Irish football for years has always been on a wink and on a nod, like written on the back of fag wrap packet. This kind of setup. Now I know, and yeah, look, Canham hasn't been perfect. He's made lots of errors, which we talked about on here. But to be fair, this plan he's helped to put together, yeah, it is a plan and it is a start. So credit to him for that. Also, but also, there has been a few errors along the way, too. But yeah, we talk about the minutes and we talk about that aspect of football. But it's also, I think, we have to look at the emotional side of things for a young player. It's not easy for a young lad to go to a foreign country. It's not easy for, Italy or wherever. Like, for somebody who's lived abroad, not abroad, England's not abroad, but somebody who's moved away from Ireland, even with surrounded by family, still tough. I still got homesick. It took a while, but I got very homesick, and homesick is horrible. Did you get homesick when you were in Liverpool?
No, I wasn't too. I'm not too bad in that aspect. I
No.
think it was a half an hour.
Yeah, I
It was a
mean,
half an
from
hour
Monaghan.
flight home. You can go whenever you want, like, so. I kind of lucky in that sense. But
Well, I
it
mean, you were
is.
also from Monaghan as well, so
Yeah.
you're probably just glad to get out of the place. No, but you were going over as a
Oh, you
student.
never came back, is it? Why you love Dublin so much that you never came back?
Love Dublin. I love Dublin
Yeah,
so much. I haven't lived there for 14 years. No, but listen, I suppose you were going over as a student.
yeah.
Like you were always coming back. Bless you. Where I was going over there to move and just sort of, new opportunities. So it's not easy, right? And I was in my mid-20s. So you imagine somebody who's in their teens, like, somebody who's 15, 16 or whatever going over there. And it's not easy. Could you imagine if only Connor, if only we had a system in Ireland where they could stay here and a league that they could play in and develop into a really good player, like up until maybe they were in their early 20s, and then get a move to another club, to a European club or whatever, and then the money generated could go back into the club, and then that level gets better and better and better, and everything gets better. Wouldn't that just be lovely in Irish football? It's going in the right direction.
They don't
But
have to worry about going over to Italy and not just going to a different country, which is always
the
it is a
player pool,
change. You have to go learn a different language. You have to go to a different culture, a different style of
yeah,
football, which is never a different style of football is never really the biggest issue. It's just the whole culture aspect and language
yeah,
aspect. And if they could do it from home, there'd be so many lads because there's a lot of Irish people are very homebirds, like, and they love being at home and they love having the aspect of home comforts, like. So it's just disappointing that it's took this long, and it is. I can see a change coming on the horizon because the reality is, as bad as the investment has been in Irish football over the last whatever 30, 40 years, there's still some very good coaches in this country. Somehow we keep producing talent after talent for the
always
size of
have.
the player pool we have. There's always been brilliant talents, and thing is, a lot of these clubs put a lot of faith in their youngsters. Like, you look at what, especially if they're a first division club, you see with Cork last season with Cal O'Sullivan, Jade Numa. Now you see it with Dundalk this year. You see it with a lot of other clubs. They're putting a lot of faith in these young lads. And you see more clubs are getting lads onto pro contracts, which is a benefit. And even if they're not in the full time setup as such as many as what we'd want in the full, maybe not training with the senior team 5 days a week, but they're at least on a pro contract that whenever they move on, if they move to England at 18 or go to Europe just after they're 6, 17, 18, these clubs aren't just getting a compensation fee, is what like I see David Dunn, look, not you actually, speaking of David Dunn, looks set to be going to Monaco, and because he's only 16, he only just turned 16, he's on a pro contract, they'll only get a compensation fee. But if he, for example, was in that environment, probably would have stayed. If he was in a better environment at home, not because Cork have a brilliant academy wise, but in terms of getting that full-time coaching, he probably would have stayed at home till 18 anyway. And then when he got to 18, they probably would have got a very hefty transfer fee, because you never know what way he would have kicked on at senior level at home. But I guess we just have to we just have to be patient in that sense as well, because for the next couple of years anyway, we're going to see lads at 16 probably have to go abroad. But and thing is, it has to be done. Like we see with Jade Numa last year. You can't blame someone going. I know people are like, oh, stay at home, play senior football. But when you're getting that opportunity to go to some of these clubs and get in their environment full time, sometimes it's too hard to turn down.
Yeah, and all that money's just slipping through the fingers of the clubs. Like all that money that could be going right back into the club, new stand, new facilities, new pitches, everything. It will happen. I do think it will happen. And to be credit to the FAI, they finally put a figure on it. They've actually finally gone to the government. Look, we need this amount of money, because for years we've known football in Ireland has been so poorly funded. You never really got a figure on things. You probably. As I said, it always felt like it was kind of written on the back of a fag packet. But now it's like, listen, we need this amount for this specific thing. And that is good for the government, because then you go, okay, fair enough. We've got clarity. So we know what this money's going on, exactly what it is. So we can monitor that. And it looks like you guys know what you're talking about, and we have a little bit of organization there. So that's good. And I do think it will happen. And I think once there's a plan in there and the government are confident, that would be massive for the game. But I do think it will happen, and credit to them for finally.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Conor, thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching and listening, as always. We will be back live on Monday. So we're going to be live from Monday over the next while. Sorry, Martin, if you're only finding out we made an executive decision without you. But yeah, probably going to be live for the foreseeable future. On Monday, which I think actually he'd be happy with, at 10 p.m. anyway. We will be live, and of course we'll have the League of Ireland review the following week, etc. Don't forget to like the video, please. Follow the YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to the page, please, here on YouTube, and head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter. Obviously, don't forget to head over to Conor Rep Tracker, doing God's work over there for the young players. The boys and girls in green of the present, and of course the future. And give them a little cheeky follow over there. And if you want opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. That is lansdowneroar.ie. We can also get an audio version of this podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. Anyway, I'm David Dunn. He is Conor McAvoy. This is Lansdowne ROAR. We're out of here, and you're beautiful. Come on, you boys are great.